Welcome to Coffee Africa number 2. If you watch part 2, I blooped in the thing, but I'm not going to delete it. But this is your bonus video for addressing Felon 47. A lot of y'all might not be aware of this, and maybe you are. Maybe you care, maybe you don't. I'm hoping that you care, though, but if you don't care, then, just move on to the next video. This won't be that long. 10 minutes, at best 10 minutes. I talked about Felon 47 in 2 videos, and I'm going to talk about Felon 47 in this 3rd video. Again, you're not going to like it, and you're going to get mad, This man's going to put a target on America, and y'all need to be ready. Y'all honestly, truly, to God, need to be ready. If you haven't seen this movie called Red Dawn, it stars Patrick Swayze, you should probably look at Red Dawn. See if Google can help me out. Can you give me the principle of the movie Red Dawn? Okay. I'm going to read it to y'all in a minute. Okay. So I'm going to read this shit. Because it didn't give you what I really needed it to give you. But first we're going to go ahead and stick that there so y'all can see it. Now you can hear it because it was in my ear. But the principle of Red Dawn is a patriotic Cold War fantasy about American resilience, portraying ordinary citizens, specifically teenagers, forced to mature into guerrilla warfare fighters, known as the Wolverines, defending their town and their nation from a surprise invasion of Soviet and Cuban forces, immunized liberty, survival, and fighting back against an oppression and even when isolated. To highlight themes of patriotism, self-resilience, and fighting for freedom against overwhelming odds, initially flipped the script in the Third World Liberation Struggle into America. Patriotism and freedom. The film champions American ideologies and liberties, families, and freedoms, presenting as the value worth dying for. Resistance and guerrilla warfare. It explores on how well-trained military can be vulnerable to insurrection, and ordinary people can form a resistance movement. Isolation and vulnerability. The story underscores the fear of Americans being alone and surrounded by hostile global powers and a common Cold War anxiety. Coming of age under duress. Teenagers, protagonists, are forced to grow up quickly and adopt military roles and confronting brutal realities to survive. Liberty and oppression. The director, John Muniz, intended as a zombie movie with Russians, where American people became the oppressed fighting for liberty. The essence of Red Dawn is about what would happen if the last hope on Earth in America faces an essential threat and ordinary people had to rise up to defend their own thing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go to this Red Dawn Wikipedia because what I wanted to give you was how they got there. Alright? Let's hope Wikipedia got it right too. In 1984, action film director John Muniz did a screenplay with Kevin Reynolds starring Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen, C. Thomas Howard, Leah Thompson, and Jennifer Grey, with supporting roles by Ben Johnson, Darren Dalton, Harry Dean Stanton, Ron O'Neal, and William Smith. Basically, it's World War III, and between the recent isolation of the United States and the Soviet Union, film follows a group of teenage guerrillas known as the Wolverines fighting against the Soviet Union and fighting back Latin American invasion forces. Now, despite the mixed reviews, it's critical, blah, blah, blah. Alright, the plot. In the 1980s, the United States becomes increasingly isolated after NATO is dissolved. Who wants us out of NATO? Felon 47. All right. After NATO is dissolved, Western European nuclear weapons are removed. The Soviet Union has allied with Cuba and Nicaragua and has begin building up their military strength and expansion their influence across El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico. High school students, we ain't going through all their names, witnessed a surprise-led Soviet invasion on their town. Brothers Jed and Matt Eckert escaped the chaos of the Soviet paratroopers attack when the Soviets, Colombians, and Nicaraguans soldiers occupy, I can't say that, so I'm going to spell it for you, Calumet. Jed and Matt and their friends Robert, Danny, Daryl, and Alberto or Arturo. I can't say the shit. Arturo, Arturo, flee into the countryside with camping supplies and food and weapons and take Robert's father's store. They invade the Soviet roadblock and assist the U.S. helicopter gunship, narrowly escaping the mountains, where they go into hiding. Weeks later, upon the lead Eckert being held in the re-education camp at the city that I just played drive in, seniority or something visits and learns that Mrs. Eckert is dead. He has asked the young sons to avenge him, visiting the Manson family, or whatever, occupied territory, etc., etc. And we're going to just go on to skip down a little bit because there's a whole lot of reading about the Mississippi, Rocky Mountains, Alaska, Mexico. Tanner joins the Wolverine and leads further into the thing. Then it talks about the spoiled Daryl defies Jared's orders and ventures into the rescue of his father and his own, is arrested by the KGB, brainwashed his father to betray them. Daryl is forced to swallow a tracking device to release the Wolverines, etc., etc. By the Wolverines who captured the Soviets alive after questioning the Soviets lead to nowhere. Matt then gets a tracer and work to whatever. He gets a chance to track it or work or whatever the fuck. And the Soviets, I guess he had to play and do shit to get it. The Wolverines ambush the Soviet helicopters, gunships, and which they kill Tony and Robert. Jeb and Matt attack the occupation forces in the city that I'm not going to try to pronounce again as a distraction to help Danny and Erica escape. I can't say that shit, so I'm going to spell that shit. Strelnikov mortally wounds Jed and Matt before Jed kills him with his grandfather's pistol. Although the brothers are discovered and held at gunpoint by Cuban Colonel Ernesto Bella, it is later ultimately spares them. The brothers sit together in the park bench during the final moments. Danny and Erica trek through the mountains to reach an American-held territory. The film closes with the shot of a plague on the mountainside, fenced off, with the U.S. flag flying nearby, and the plague reads the following. In the early days of World War III, guerrillas, mostly children, placed their names on their lost upon this rock. They fought here alone, and they gave their lives so that this nation shall not perish from the earth. Now, the other part of the plot was the president sold us out. So you have to go watch Red Dawn. And I'm telling y'all right now, for everybody that voted for Felon 47, that's exactly what it seemed like it's about to happen since he's so enamored of going into Greenland and going into Venezuela. Venezuela's in Cuba's backyard. Greenland is between America and Iceland. America and the Soviet Union. And y'all don't want to wake up to notice any of this shit. And as I like to say, it's all fun and games until they're knocking on your fucking door. How long is it going to take for anybody who voted for Felon 47, regardless of what fucking color you are, to realize this motherfucker's one heartbeat away from either kicking the can or selling us up the river? Which goes back to, he's going to put a target on America's back. And there'll be nothing we can do to save ourselves because you voted this fucker in. And then it's going to be too late when they're knocking your goddamn door down. They already tried to take freedom of speech. Remember what they did to Jimmy Kimmel? How long before it's you? How long before they turn the cannons on each and every last one of you dumb bastards that voted for him? And yeah, I called you dumb bastards. Because you might not be racist, but stupidity and racism don't far too far from each other. You can be stupid and not racist, and you can be stupid and racist at the same damn time. Now, if I lose a few of the 689 of you who are here, I understand. I'm not the guy for you. As I like to say, I give you guys 99.9. I also said this video shouldn't be more than 10 minutes, and it's exceeding the 10-minute mark because I see 11, 14, 15 as I speak. But you better wake the fuck up. You better wake up before it's too late. Because see, when Felon 47 gets all through this congenital heart failure and cancer and the swollen ankles and shit, he's gonna die. It's gonna be by natural causes. He's also gonna burn in hell. He thinks he's not, but he's gonna burn in hell for all that he's done to women and girls. And y'all supported that shit when you voted his ass in a second time. But hey, two wings on the same bird. But they're only showing the Democrats on the Epstein list. That should let you know right there. For all those other motherfuckers who keep saying, where's two wings on the same bird? Two wings on the same bird. But y'all only go after the Democrats. Well, guess what? The Democrats go after the Democrats too. Funny how the Republicans don't go after the Republicans. They only go after the Democrats. And a lot of Republicans are guilty as fucking sin. And you voted for that shit. Y'all better hope like hell that we don't go into a red dawn. I'm 52. I'm still young enough to fight, but I ain't fast enough to run. Which means, if I go, it's a suicide mission for me. And I will make sure that's clear to every fucking soldier that I'm with. I'm not coming home from this mission. I was like, well, I said, yeah, I'm not coming home from this mission. Because if something goes wrong, they're going to have to kill me. Don't nobody come back. If I fall, you leave my ass there and you keep fucking running. So that way you can regroup and fight again. And that's the problem with a lot of y'all motherfuckers ain't willing to make that fucking fight. There's a part of the song for Gurren Lagann by Amy Lee. Shout out to Amy Lee. It's the English version for Attack on Titan. I'm going to give you the whole fucking song. And when I get to that one part, that's where I'm going to reflect back to that. Your ears are going to bleed, and this has gone past the 10-minute mark. So, might as well finish it. Our names won't be remembered if we die like trampled flowers. I refuse to be forgotten, written off as less than worthless. Train and cry, but none will hear you. Plead and beg, but none will help you. We'll no longer live as cattle. Will you rise and join the battle? There are beings living off our fear, and their words are like knives as they play with our lives. They'll try to control you as if they own you. Will you let them steal your freedom? Feel the anger swell inside you. Fight the boundaries till you break through. Deep in your soul, there's no hesitation to make yourself to one-eye Jaeger. There's a royal fire inside you, burning desire you can't extinguish. Here comes an arrow ripped through the twilight. This is the moment for war. This is the moment for war. This is the moment for war. This is the moment for... Hunt your prey and act, draw your arrow back, never let him get away. Set the arrow free on your enemy, never let him get away. Pull your bowstring back just before it snaps, feel the tension in your fingers. eyes are frozen, still going for the kill, making sure no life will linger. It's not the hunter, not the weapon, to guarantee the kill it counts in the end. It's your determination, rivaling the hunter of your slay's will. We are the hunters, unforgiven like a raging fire. Yes, we are the hunters. Merciless, we are as cold as ice. Yes, we are the hunters. Let the arrow nearly draw you in. Yes, we are the hunters. And strike at anything that comes within. This is the moment for war. This is the moment for war. This is the moment for war. This is the moment for Only few and far between know that victory takes sacrifice. Only they can really see to offer up the price. You think your dreams come true easily, friend, where you're in for a surprise. 'Cause nothing in this world will come free. Foolish decisions and disillusions caught in your reckless bravery. Offer your freedom, fighting in your chains. Victory is out here waiting. Freeing your life is just the beginning, because the onslaught is now commencing. Reclaim the land and then the horizon, and off to the world if you so desire. There's a royal fire inside you, burning desire you can't extinguish. Here comes an arrow ripped through the twilight. This is the moment for war. Our names won't be remembered if we die like trampled flowers. Anyway, at that part, specifically, only few and far between know that victory takes sacrifice. I gotta do it again now. Only few, god damn it. Only few and far between understand that. God damn it. Anyway, the difference make the sacrifice. How the fuck did that go? This is the moment for war. This is the moment for war. Only few and far between know that victory takes sacrifice. Only they can really see to offer up the price. You think your dreams come true easily, friend, where you're in for a surprise. Anyway, that whole part about offering up the price. That's why I said what I said. There's a big ass scar on my leg. I had a hip replacement at 42. That was 10 years ago. I'm 52 now. I'm not going to be able to outrun a bullet. So if I'm on a mission, it's my last mission. And before we leave for that mission, I'm letting everybody know. Give me all the grenades you can get. Because I ain't coming home. Because I know that only few and far between know that victory takes sacrifice. 52 years old, if something like Red Dawn happens, I will be the sacrifice because I won't have a fucking choice. I can't outrun a fucking bullet. You've seen the scar on my leg if you've been here long enough. And Felon 47 is going to put that bullseye right on our backs. And for everybody who voted for him, doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what gender you are, it's going to be too late when they're dropping paratroopers in American soil. Hasn't happened yet. But don't think that it can't. 9/11 proved that it can. And y'all voted for this shit. You see this motherfucker buddy with Putin. You see this motherfucker buddy with Xi Jinping from China. You see this motherfucker buddy with Kim Jong-un from North Korea. How many more dictators y'all gonna let this motherfucker be friends with before we're in the food line trying to figure out how we're gonna make our next fucking meal? When Red Dawn happens, and it just might, you better be ready. I can almost guarantee you it would be the end of racism. It would definitely be the end of racism. Because the primary targets aren't just going to be black and brown people. They're going to be some of you white people too. And if you're not ready for that and you think because you voted for him you were safe, I actually asked that Mexican who was getting his ass kicked by ICE. And fuck you, Dean Cain. I actually asked that motherfucker who's screaming at the top of his lungs, I voted for Trump, I voted for Trump. And they beat the brakes off that motherfucker. I actually asked the guy who was here legally, but they captured him, and Trump digitally had Thug Life put on his hands while on live TV, and Christian Walker pointed that out. If you voted for this man, you might not be racist, but your moral compass is fucked. You voted for a man who told a 10-year-old or 8-year-old that he would be dating her in 10 years. You voted for a man who is a straight-up predator of little girls, 14 to 19, in his Miss Beauty pageant, and all of them have come out. The Epstein girls have come out, and all of a sudden we got problems with Venezuela, and he wants to go up to Iceland again because he wants to do everything he can to make sure that you forget about the Epstein files, and you forget that you have a 14-year-old girl. He also wants to make it, he made it, so that if your daughter gets raped, she's keeping that baby. And that the husband, the monster that injected his sperm into her vagina, can now sue you for getting an abortion. And again, you voted for that shit. If you have a working uterus, I almost tell you this, when the midterms come, you better wake the fuck up. Because you don't know when you're going to get body slammed on the table by somebody that you voted for and fucked. Not just fucked mentally, but literally. And they're going to fuck you up the ass. They're going to impregnate you by fucking you in the vagina, but then they're going to put the chocolate content on the cake when they stab their dick up your ass. I ain't got to worry. This ain't two things they can do to me. Lock me up or kill me. We're all going to be in some deep shit. Red Dawn, motherfuckers. Go watch it. Red Dawn.